Hey, how you doing? Welcome to episode number 4 of Jaws on Sports. I'm Mike. I've upped my production value just a little bit here. I got one of those really cool halo lights from Amazon. Cost me about $30. Makes my ugly mug look a lot better. And I'm repping the Cowboys tonight because they are the best team in the history of the world. And Zach is doing the same. And no, we did not coordinate that. It's just we think on the same wavelength. So how you doing tonight, Zach?
I've been better, but can't complain.
That's all
Doing all
right.
right.
Yeah,
Still in the United States, so it's a pretty good life to live.
very nice. Yeah. You're on spring
Yeah,
break, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Got nothing going on now, but that's all right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. It's about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the men's basketball tournament brackets were released a couple hours ago. So we're going to talk about the big dance here. We're going to go over the South Regional first. You got the top seed in the tournament, the Alabama Crimson Tide, against somebody in the play-in game that's not going to have any kind of chance to win. So, what do you think of Alabama?
I think Alabama is kind of like the Florida Gators were in football. They have all these like crazy things going on behind the scenes, but on the court they're still really good. Um, so that's really all that matters. There might be a 30 for 30 about them someday, but all that matters right now is that they can ball. So,
Yeah, they
I
could
mean, I think
definitely ball.
I think they'll go pretty far this tournament.
They did have that one game in Norman. I'm not quite sure what happened. The Sooners beat them by 70 points or something. That was an outlier. Um, they the Crimson Tide, they had a heck of a season. They've got NBA lottery pick. They're really solid team. It's debatable if they should be the number one overall seed. I do think if Kansas would have won the Big 12 conference tournament, they would have been it. But hey,
Right?
what can you do? So
Um,
let's see. So if you look down at the bottom of the bracket, you got Arizona at number 2 versus Princeton. I actually watched some of the Ivy League tournament final today with Princeton and a very tough Yale team.
yeah, man, those nerds can play some basketball.
Those guys are good, man.
Yeah, they don't do anything too fancy, but they they can play ball. They can. They're pretty good, but I think Arizona's safe for one game. I don't know if they'll get any further than that. Arizona's kind of like a Purdue. You can't really trust them that much. I've enjoyed watching Purdue this year, but man, you gotta be careful with them. They are always that team that could go to the Final Four or lose in the first round. So I think the same with Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's burned me too many times in the NCAA tournament, you know.
Yeah, that's why I don't pick those guys very often. So
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think the same thing.
yeah, I definitely like them here. I don't think there's any chance that Princeton will be able to keep up. There's just too much athleticism
Yeah, I
on
agree.
Arizona's side. So
Yeah,
if
they're
we,
just better.
yeah. So let's see. On the 3 spot, we've got Baylor. You know that I'm high on Baylor. Um,
Baylor, yeah, man, they're too good.
yeah, this is our first Big 12 team now. You know, I think it's pretty obvious by now that Zach and I are not just Big 12 people, but Oklahoma Sooner people. Sooners kind of took a dump this year on the basketball court, but they'll be back. I'm confident. The Big 12 was so good. And we had talked about this a little bit offline that there's might be, it might have been too good. You know, maybe some of the Big 12 teams were so tough on each other, beating each other up that they might take a fall in the big dance here. We'll talk more about that some other time probably, but Baylor's tough, great guard play. They don't have a whole lot of height out there, but man, they are so good crashing those boards.
they're good at winning, especially in a tournament setting.
Yeah.
They get the job done. They might not be super flashy, drop 90 points every game, but they're gonna be more physical and they do the fundamental things right. And that's why they won a couple years ago. I think they would have went back to back if it wasn't for the tournament getting canceled. But I just, man, those guys are so good, and they might lose. It's the big dance, crazy stuff happens. But man, Baylor is that one team that in March no one's ever safe, but that's a team that always goes far, at least
Yeah,
recently.
yeah, they're tough. They're tough as nails. Um, I like them a lot, and I can see them going a little bit in this tournament. Uh, to complete the top four in the South Regional, you've got Virginia Cavaliers. I like these guys too.
Yeah, Virginia is that team that they're very capable of winning. There's if you look up and down the bracket, I see maybe 4 to 6 teams that I think can win. Virginia's one of those teams I think can win.
Yeah, I was
So
watching them play Duke the other, or that was yesterday in the ACC championship game, and I I've got some thoughts on Duke that we'll get to when we get to them, but Virginia, tough as nails, played them straight up, just battle tested. Um, Incredible coach, championship pedigree from a few years back. It's a great program there. So as we look through the rest of the South Regional, there's one team I like a lot, and the number 6 line is Creighton.
I Creighton's a weird one. I think that's one of those games that whoever wins might go to like a Sweet 16, or they might just be playing to lose to Baylor. um,
That's a good point. Yeah.
but
Mm.
part of me thinks that Creighton will show up. Another part of me thinks, man, they're kind of on that line where you just don't know. So I don't know much about them, but from the past, they're kind of a Arizona. Don't know if I trust them that much.
No, they're pretty decent out there. Um, I saw them play one late night game this year. I don't remember who it was against, but I think they could beat NC State here and probably get smashed by Baylor. That'd be a bad second round matchup for Creighton. But
Yeah.
otherwise, if you take Baylor out of the equation, I like Creighton a lot there.
Um, I think that's about it for there. I think Huggins wins against the Turtles. I think that should be a win for them. But
I, I
besides
do
that,
I do like San Diego State in the 5 seed.
mm-hmm. That
Again,
5-12 game is always weird though.
yeah, I think I got a couple of those down further down that I'm taking the 12. The 5-12 and the 4-13, you almost always have an upset there. And in the what is it? In the 6-11, a lot of times the 11 seed is actually better team. So um, pretty interesting stuff. I mean, in the South Regional, obviously you have to like Alabama. They earned the number 1 seed. I don't like them to win the whole thing, but you got to like them for a bit. Uh, Virginia, Baylor in the 4 and the 3. I think those are the top 3 teams.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Um, so move to the East.
Move to the East. All right.
Uh, got the choo choo trains. Think they should win that one. Why? Okay, you're gonna make fun of me. I kind of have these little, uh, like techniques or I don't know what you call it, methods to picking teams
Yeah.
in these brackets, and one of them I do every year. I just do one of them, but it's who would win in a fight, and you get a weird team like a train against a tiger. The train's probably gonna win a lot, but sometimes you'll run into a devil and a Bear, and you don't know who's going to win that one. So it's kind of just an interesting way to pick teams, but that's how I think of it sometimes. And then there's other
That's
part
pretty
of me
cool. Yeah.
that just thinks, well, choose them based off if they're good at playing basketball or not if they're going to fight each other. So,
Yeah.
but I do think Purdue wins that first one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we're going to have a 16 seed win this year. Happened a few
No.
years back with
Yeah, was
Virginia,
that the
actually.
Golden Retrievers?
Yeah, I think so. They beat Virginia. Of course, Virginia came back the next year, won the national championship. I guess they were kind of salty about that, but yeah, I don't see a number one seed getting beat this year.
No.
Not in the first round. Marquette,
Memphis.
number 2, man.
I like Marquette. The only thing I don't like about Marquette is they have to play USC. And yes, I am picking USC right now. Stinking Lincoln out there, out west. He has nothing to do with the basketball team. They can play basketball out there. Gas is too high, but they find a way to make it to the games. I think Marquette. I like Marquette, but I'm taking the stinking Lincoln Trojans over them in the second round.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are big words there.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Marquette when Dwayne Wade played there. It's been a little while.
Yeah, 20 years, something like that.
They're a good team. They're kind of a mystery to me. I don't think that, I mean, in this regional, in the East regional, I like Purdue, Duke, Tennessee, and probably even Kentucky more.
Yeah, the only thing about Kentucky is they have to play a Big 12 team immediately if they win against Providence. And the Big 12 is weird how, they said, or you said that they beat themselves up, but I think they're so good that it'll translate the tournament. We might see 2 teams from the Big 12 in the Final Four. But with that, Kentucky has more talent than K-State. So I think their talent alone could get them over K-State. But I do like that they're in here. I am taking Oral Roberts over the Devils. I am.
And you're going to get some people pile onto you for that one, man. I know
Well,
that many of our 50 million listeners are Duke's Blue Devils fans.
I'm taking Jesus over the Devil today, and Oral Roberts is going to take down Almighty Duke first round.
I can't think of the guy's name. They've got a 7'5" guy, weighs about 140 pounds on Oral Roberts. Roach might run over him, between him, through him.
I don't know, man. I'm taking them. Oklahoma basketball. It's gritty. They're going to take them down.
Hey, Oral Roberts is a good team. I don't know what they're doing up there in Tulsa, but they're good year after year.
I wouldn't want to see those guys in the tournament. I wouldn't. That's all I got to say. I'm picking them. I'm taking them right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
Put it in stone.
You can take Oral Roberts over Duke. I'll let you do that one. Going back with some of these other ones, I like Memphis. Memphis is pretty solid. I think they probably got a bad deal with their seed with Purdue in the second round.
Right.
I've been burned. This is another team. I've been burned on Purdue many times in the past. I don't like them. They're good. What's that guy, the big guy, Eddie, yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah. The best thing he ever did was come back because he's filled out. He's just gotten a lot better, matured. His motor skills caught up, and he probably made himself an awful lot more NBA money coming back this year. I don't think Purdue. I think they might have a hard time making the Elite Eight, but I do like them for the Sweet 16.
I agree. Tennessee, I like Tennessee. Their shade of orange is cool.
Yes, sir.
They'll have to run into Oral Roberts, who I got going to the Sweet 16.
Wow.
K-State, I'm taking Wildcats and Wildcats. If you had to bet on that game, I'd take the Wildcats for that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good bet. I bet we could get some odds for that in Vegas.
Yeah. Uh,
With Kansas State's a solid team, but I don't trust them. I do think that one of the mid-tier Big 12 teams is going to make a Elite Eight run.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that could be them. It could be TCU. Um, but I just I don't know about this spot.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I think they're going to beat Montana State, but I think they
Yeah.
might have a tough go of it in the second round.
Yeah. All right. Midwest.
All right.
We got Kelvin Sampson. Please come back to OU. Porter Potty needs to get out of here. Never come back. Taking the Cougs first round.
Yeah,
That's
it's going to
easy.
be, Houston has had some pretty darn good teams here in recent times. The Final Four, um, they're very good. I don't know what the status is of their superstar, Sowers, I think is his name. Um, he has some kind of a lower extremity injury. I don't know what the status is of that. If he's able to play, they're as good as anybody, and they could win the whole thing. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
as it is, I think they're pretty safe to the Sweet 16. He's pretty easy.
as much as I hate these nerds in Austin, they're damn good at throwing the ball in the hoop. I think Texas is going to go pretty far this tournament. They got some studs out there. They play good basketball. So
Yeah, the best thing I can say about the University of Texas at Austin is they have killer barbecue down there.
they have great football uniforms. I'll give that to
Yeah,
them.
that burnt orange is pretty cool. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Barbecue is great. Got a great music scene down there. The vibe is really chill, but man, I tell you, it's hard. It's hard to pick. I dislike the University of Texas cornhole team. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I hope they
And
all lose. And
90,000 other ones. I can't stand them. They
yeah.
don't like me either, so it evens out. But boy,
So
they are a pretty darn good team this year. And I think it'd be pretty cool to see a rivalry game there in the second round with A&M.
yeah, I had picked the Aggies. Big Ten basketball is so clunky. It's kind of like Big Ten football, how it's just
Sucks.
it's better watching grass grow than watching it because it's so difficult. But Big Ten basketball is just, I don't know, man. So I think I take the Aggies. They lost to Bama yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
So they went pretty far in the SEC. I think they win that one.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. They're probably underseeded too. The
Yeah,
ESPN guys were talking about that.
you know,
Um, we'll see. On the three line, you got Xavier. Xavier's a solid program year after year. I don't like them,
past the first
regardless of
game.
who they were playing. I don't like them past the first game, but
Agreed.
they're good for at least one victory.
Iowa State, we were talking about a Big 12 team that might make
Yeah,
a run because they don't
yeah,
have any of those big name guys, but those are usually the teams that everyone loves as they go through the tournament. So I think Iowa State's going to make a run.
yeah. One thing about this, just because of the seeds, if you play the probabilities there, you've had a play-in team make the second round every single year, and I could be wrong. Our fact checkers out there could check that out for me. I'd appreciate it. But um, one of these 6-11 games, I would expect to see an upset. I don't know what to
That's
think
fair.
about Iowa State. They could lose here. They could make the Elite Eight. I wouldn't be surprised either way. They're one of those programs.
Yeah, they're one of those weird teams that you just don't know.
Yeah,
So,
battle tested in the Big 12 this year, obviously.
yeah.
Uh, Indiana, Kent State.
I'm taking the Golden Flashes in the upset. Bobby Knight, go to hell. Kent State is going to dominate Indiana bad. It's going to be
You,
embarrassing. It's going
you
to be
got to
like
watch that.
70.
Wow, got to watch
Yeah.
that chair shot, but from Bobby Knight, man, he likes to
Yeah.
throw chairs.
Yeah. Well, they're going to need those chairs because they're going to be on the bench. And they suck. They're going to be sitting in chairs after that game because Kent
Oh,
State's going to take them down.
So let me get this right. You're going to take Kent State in all of your brackets. Is that right?
Well, at least this one, looking at it initially, I'm taking Kent State, and
Mm.
I am sticking with it.
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah,
I tell you the best game in the Midwest first round might just be Drake and Miami.
I
Uh,
agree. I think that a dog up against a hurricane is an interesting fight.
yeah,
Um, Definitely, it's 5-12 game. Miami's weird though. Miami is kind of like Iowa State. They could be a Sweet 16 kind of team, or they could lose by 15 against Drake. So
yeah. I mean, they've got some dudes there at Miami.
yeah,
Um, I do think this is my 12-5 upset because if this game was played in the regular season on a neutral court, the line would probably be two with the U. But I'm going to take Drake here, at least on one of my 25 brackets that I fill out.
I'm taking Miami. It's all about the U in this one. I think they get the job done. I don't think they can make it past the blue blood Kent State, but I think that they take down Drake in the first round.
Okay. I don't know if Drake is going to like that.
Well, I don't care. Roll Canes. Auburn, I can you hear me?
I could hear you. I lost you for a second. Sorry.
All right, yeah. Auburn, Iowa. Interesting. I like SEC ball. I'm going with the Tigers in that one.
Yeah, I like SEC ball there too. Auburn's got some dudes. Um, so let's see. We got the West. We got
Got the
about 8 minutes left here.
you got the champs.
Yeah, man, I
Trying to
tell you, I don't quite know what happened with Kansas in the Big 12 championship game, although that game literally means nothing.
yeah.
Um, Gave Texas some momentum. Kansas, I don't know if they had their cheerleaders and water boys playing or what, but they just got their butts whipped. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
So I expect them to beat Howard by about 45.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think that might be a terrible body bag kind of game. Feel
Yeah,
bad for Howard. They're gonna need all 8 or 9 months of the offseason to recover from that one. So
probably so. There's some interesting games in this one, this here in the West. On the two line, you got UCLA versus North Carolina, Asheville. I do like the Bruins this year a lot. I think they are a team that's capable of winning the whole thing. And I
I don't
also
know,
think,
man.
well, let me finish there, pal. I also think they could get knocked out in the second round.
I agree. I do not trust those nerds. I trust their buddies at USC, but not them. I don't trust them.
I don't trust them either. I mean, they could win it all. They could lose second round. But
Yeah.
part of me, they're battle tested. What's that guy, Jaquez?
Yeah,
Uh,
Jaime Jaquez, the dude,
yeah,
it feels like he's been there for
20,
eight years now.
29th year senior. He's actually on the first round draft boards too. I didn't know he was that good, but
He's
apparently
always
he is.
been a pure scorer kind of guy, but I
Yeah.
didn't think he'd be a. I thought he'd be more of a G League kind of dude. That's
Well,
interesting.
that might be where he ends up, but you know, uh, UCLA is solid. Another really good year down there in Southern California. Um, Interesting this year with Gonzaga. Okay. They actually lost a few games during the regular season. That does not happen. That's unusual for them. I
Well, yeah,
mean, part of me thinks that's a good thing.
I do too because it makes them realize they're not invincible. Because that's what kind of happens. You can look in different sports too. If you watch Cincinnati a couple years ago in football,
Hmm.
they were playing St. Mary's School for the Blind every week, and they were undefeated. And they go up against Alabama, and Alabama has their second string guys in at halftime.
Yeah.
So I think that's good for Gonzaga. I think they'll have one good thing about that is they don't have the eyes on them this year. We're not all saying, "Oh, Gonzaga, Gonzaga." It's, "Oh, Gonzaga's a 3 seed. Okay, I'm gonna pick them to win the first round, and we'll see where they go from there." But yeah, I like them because they a little bit more under the radar team. So I do
Yeah,
like that.
I think in the bottom half of the West Regional, they have a pretty easy route to the Elite Eight. I
Yeah.
just think they're a lot better than the other teams that are left. I would love to see them play UCLA again. I think that will happen. We had a great time watching that game a few years ago. That was amazing. Jalen Suggs hits that 45-footer off the backboard just at the buzzer in overtime. Amazing stuff. Um,
Um,
let's see. I just going up one above that. They're not going to last very long, but I actually like this Northwestern team. I think that's the only Big Ten team that I like.
I agree. I think Northwestern wins. I think they give UCLA a good game too. I don't know if they win, but I think they give UCLA a good matchup. So
The great business school, great journalism at Northwestern. So, with that in mind, I think they get a good squad. Probably losing the second round, but I got them winning here. Now we go up a little bit. Let's see, UConn. UConn always has a soft space in my heart for some reason. I have no freaking idea why. Just over the years, they've won national championships. They've had really, really good teams. They have really bad teams here and there. Uh, they have a pretty solid team this year, and I think they got a legit route to the Sweet 16. Iona doesn't have a chance against them. St.
I
Mary,
say no, you're
oh,
done. I say your soft spot sucks.
oh
I'm
man.
taking Rick Pitino in the upset, and your soft spot will be hard after they lose because they're going to get embarrassed by a 13 seed. Take
Rick
it to the bank.
Pitino was a great coach 15 years ago, man.
Oh, he's still there. He's Tom Brady. He's there still. Iona wins first round.
Wow.
I'll put on the Iona hat like Lee Corso. I'm taking him.
Is that your 13 seed upset
Yes.
right there?
That is the most set in stone upset in March Madness history right there.
Pretty wild. So you go one below that, you get TCU versus a play-in game. And, TCU is a team that has a lot of height. They crashed the boards. Again, battle tested in the Big 12. I like them better than Kansas State as far as the mid-level Big 12 teams. Um, Problem is they got to play Gonzaga in the second round. I like Gonzaga an awful lot this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think they definitely win first round, but I think Gonzaga handles business in that second round. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
St. Mary's, was it St. Mary's or was it some in the
St.
80s or
Peter's.
90s?
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh no, you're talking about the Peacocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the West Coast when they used to score like
That
130
was
points a
Loyola
game.
Marymount, man.
Loyola Marymount, sorry, I get mixed up.
Those were the days. Oh my gosh, you would
Yeah.
have loved it. Yeah, just they'd inbound the ball, one pass up court, dribble to the 35-foot line, three. They'd let the other
uh,
team score. They didn't care.
it's
Uh,
about scoring more than the other team.
yeah, those were the days. That was in my lifetime the golden age of college hoops. They're around 88, 92. You had the UNLV teams.
Mhm.
Uh, you had the Duke teams that everybody loved to hate. They've even got their own 30 for 30 ESPN show there. Um,
Um, so looking at St. Mary's though, so in the same conference as Gonzaga, I don't know if this means too much, but they have a defensive player of the year,
yeah.
one of the best defensive teams, and that is shown to win. Remember when Baylor won?
Mhm.
We were talking about that earlier. That was because they had solid defense. They weren't just out there trying to outscore you. They were more physical and they played defense. The teams that win in March are the team's full with juniors and seniors that play fundamental basketball and they play defense. And St. Mary's is one of those teams.
Yeah, St. Mary's is solid. Yeah,
I
either
like them.
that game could go either way.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to watch. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Just talked about breaking the first round of the men's NCAA tournament down. We'll meet later in the week and we'll talk about how we did in the first round. So anyway, for Zach, this is Mike. You've been watching Jaws on Sports, episode 4. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment. And who knows, maybe you get a free cookie from us or at least 5 gold stars for doing that sometime.
None of that.
Okay, forget that. The hell with that. So
go Iona though. Iona to the Final Four.
Go get your Iona gear on Fanatics right now before it all sells out. All right, folks, have a good night.